Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ray here, back for another Transformers Transformation Review thingy. We are 6 weeks away from auto assembly. 6 weeks' time from today, day one will be finishing, and we'll all have lots of lovely plastic, and we'll all be in the bar talking about plastic and getting drunk. Oh, it's just every Transformer nerd's heaven. It really, really is. Green T-shirt, Stu, the wonderful and handsome Mighty Grimlock Stu, is green T-shirt clad. That is the redoubtable Mr. Edward. I don't know what your name is. Let me see. I'll think of a surname for you now. Bumges. That's his real name, Edward Bumges. Or Bumble Jumper 82. And he's green T-shirt clad, and he's moving. He's probably moving as we speak. Oh, he really is. Poor thing. Oh, I don't relish that at all. So Predaking. Now you can see is it up there? I can't remember. It's Ultimate Predaking, and this I never do new. I never really talk about new Transformers, not unless it's just standout, clear, awesome. This for me is standout, clear, awesome. It ticks so many boxes. It is flawed, but the pros vastly outweigh the cons. Ultimate Predaking. We have him here in the UK. You can get him everywhere. Go to the Entertainer and you'll get it for 37 quid. I bought this in Toys R Us for 50, but I don't care. I didn't. Oh, it wasn't one of those things where I went in the Entertainer 2 days later and seen. Oh, it was like, oh well, it was worth that extra 13 quid to have it for 48 hours. So I want to take you through a few Predaking-y things first. This is what I noticed today on Cybertron, the one beginning with S. The background coverage. Yeah, the background coverage was pretty good. Now I'll have to just kind of start this by saying I'm only interested in official, usually mainline Transformers and occasionally BotCon things. So things that are either very, very exclusive, like the gold shit, I do not care for, even though it's official. And I'm not a third party guy. I think the engineering is wonderful. I think the aesthetic is wonderful, and on many, very many occasions, it surpasses what is presented to us by the Hasbro or Takara. But because it's not Hasbro or Takara, I'm really not interested because it's not Transformers, and I collect Transformers. I don't collect transforming toys. I collect Transformers. It's just the way I am. It's just the way I'm made up. And I seen that there was a Predaking, and we're getting a Platinum Edition Predaking, and he looked absolutely gorgeous. We're also getting, is it like a Cryofire Predaking, and he looked great. He was just a blue recolor of the Voyager. I wished for all my life that they had called him Cryotech. That would have made him 100 times more exciting. Really would. Just give him a new head sculpt and call him Cryotech. That would be so much more interesting. Now, I rarely review a new bot, but I have to say I'm really extremely enamored with this bot. Let me show you a few Predakings first. And what's a really nice thing about our current Predakings from Prime Beast Hunters is that they are great homages to this chap. This is, you wouldn't believe how much I got this for. You would not believe how much I got this for. This is the reissue of, ooh, what are we talking? Well, I think I've had them for about 6 years. So it was the reissue around that time. But I got it for 50 quid complete in box. I couldn't believe it. That's £10 per unit, which is unheard of in this guy. He really is wonderful, and he really is heavy. I think he's heavier than Sir Grand there. I think he is. So we have black, we have orange, we have yellow, and we have gold, and he's a lovely big thing. I'm not about to sit and review this guy. I remember in the early days of YouTube when we had 10 minutes. Yes, back in the day. I reviewed this guy in 10 minutes. And that was both alt modes, and I don't know how I done that. Both alt modes and combined mode, without editing, in one go, in one take. Jesus, we were so much more interesting then, weren't we? So let me just put this guy down safely. I didn't even need to show you what that Predaking looked like. You know what he looks like. If you're a Transformers fan, you know what Generation 1 Predaking looks like. He's very, very nice. He has many people's grails, and he is really quite special. I hardly need to show you what this guy is like. This guy ticks so many boxes for me. He's a Predacon and he's a dragon, and he's some sexy kind of colors. He's orange and black, and he looks like Generation One Predaking, or rather, he's an excellent homage. I've painted the ass off this guy because you absolutely need to. I've shown him before. He's very very nice. Now let me get on to Ultimate. Anybody who knows me knows that the kind of bot that appeals most to me, the most, is a big dragon, and this guy is a big dragon. I got him about 3 or 4 days ago. And normally, what happens when I get a new bot is it stays with me next door in the living room for a day or 2 days, and then it joins everybody else down here. This is where I keep all my bots naturally and all my instruments. And so then they come down here and they sit here, and I've played with them for a day or two, and I do play with my bots. Hey, I'm 40 next year, and I still play with bots. It's great. That's what keeps me looking so young. That is the secret. Playing with Transformers. But this guy's been with me for 4 days, and I've been painting him, posing him, and praising him. Ooh, PPP, painting, posing, and praising. I like that. I've just made it up. There could be something in that. I've been painting him, posing him, and praising him. I absolutely have. And he's just lovely. Everything that appeals to me. It's the right color scheme. It's the right aesthetic. It's the right beast mode. It's the right bot mode. Everything is lovely. Let's have a look. Very, very nice. There, he does suffer from postmodern plastic syndrome, which is the larger bots seem to get. You know, whenever you these days, whenever you have a deluxe, the deluxe modern deluxes seem to have the optimum amount of engineering. Whenever you get, this is to my mind now, this might not account for, no one might agree with me, but it seems to me that modern deluxes in Transformers is where the optimum amount of engineering and plastic is. Whenever you go down to the Legion size and the Commander size, the engineering suffers a bit, but also the limbs suffer. The hands stop looking like hands, and the legs just start resembling something that they shouldn't. When you've got the deluxe, everything seems in really good proportion. It's got the right amount of paint apps for a modern bot. It's got the plastic of the right thickness. The engineering is good. When you get up to the Voyager size, it starts to deteriorate a wee bit. Because this is the Voyager size. It's not as big as an older Voyager size. But the plastic is a little thinner. And the engineering is, I would have to say, the transformation is almost, of a modern Voyager, almost seems to be more simplistic than a deluxe. Certainly of the Voyagers that I've seen of late anyway, the deluxes seem to have a more complicated transformation. And then when we get up to the larger size, like the Weaponizer, like the Weaponizer Prime from the Prime line, which is a horrendous piece, a horrendous toy, absolutely horrendous toy. I know because I have it. It's awful. Do not recommend it. But the plastic is very, very flimsy. It's full of holes. You know, the engineering is awful, and this guy suffers a little bit from that. I'm calling it postmodern plastic syndrome, where the engineering isn't. It's not very elaborate. The plastic is probably a little thinner than you would expect, and there are holes present. Now this guy doesn't suffer as much as say the Ultimate Optimus would. I've had a look at Ultimate Optimus. I've watched a few reviews, and I can safely say I'm not a fan. I will not be spending 50, 40, even 30 quid to get that guy. I'm going to wait until he comes down a little further, or get him free if possible, because he looks extremely disappointing, and it's kind of the epitome of what I'm talking about. So for my money, deluxes at the minute are where all you've got the optimum engineering, the optimum paint apps, and the optimum plastic is all there in the deluxes. Having said that, this guy is just so beautiful that I can forgive him absolutely anything. Let me get onto this little gimmick straight away. That's what he does, and he lights up. Unfortunately, he's got this freaking canker sticking out the front of him, which I dislike intensely, absolutely, really do. But this little light gimmick is very, very nice. You can see it there. It looks like he's saying cake to me. I want cake. I think that amuses me no end. The wings are great, and the wings come off. I wish they wouldn't. Safety reasons, blah blah, red tape, health and safety, yakety schmackety. That's what we've got to contend with now and forevermore, I'm sure. There's his little weapons there. I'm going to take these off right now. They don't look they don't look bad. I'm not a big fan of Voyager Predaking's little extra heads. It makes, see, the unfortunate thing is for me, I'm not a massive fan of accessories. And when you add accessories to a bot, what you also do, excuse me, is you add holes to a bot. A bot like this doesn't need two big bloody holes either side of the head in order to accommodate these little extra heads. I don't like the fact that it's got holes. I don't want to see them there. It takes away from the overall aesthetic of the bot for me, but that's just the way it is. But these weapons don't really intrude so much. You've got to get paint for this guy. Trust me, you get your enamels or acrylics. I don't care. I've tried both now, and I know what the pros and cons are. I the enamels the enamels go on neater and quicker, but I think the acrylics more hard wearing. The acrylic's going to take you hours to apply because you got to apply a coat, let it dry, apply a coat and let it dry. And it can, if you're not really good at your technique or the application of it, then sometimes they can be a bit lumpy. But you see, this is one of the weapons. This is what it looks like now. Before, there were 5 silver screws on the underside of this, and it was singularly unattractive. Of course, I took some matte enamel paint and I covered that up straight away. And I took some gold enamel paint and I gave him that, and it looks a lot better now. But you really, really, I'm always banging on about paint. I know I'm an absolute apologist for paint apps and transformers, but we need them because we're not getting them at factory level anymore. So you've got to do it at home. If you want your bots to look good, you've got to do it at home. Like for example, in this wing, you see we've got these black Cybertronian marks here and also here, and I applied those. They're recessed, and they were recessed in this orange. This is paint. So I just stuck a bit of black matte enamel in there, and then wiped the top, wiped it clean at the top, and it looks absolutely fantastic. You see this orange here, here, and here. You can see it's slightly different from this. It wasn't present there. It was just flat black. And I know from the other Predaking that this is what it should look like. It should be orange, but it wasn't. I've added a few golds and all the rest of it. And in at the hand level, when you've got this guy in hand, it makes a massive difference. I've added gold and black all over, and I'll get to it. But I just think this guy looks absolutely fantastic. There is, yeah, you can see whenever I go to transform him, you'll see what poses are available. You'll see what his articulation is. It's everything is fine, trust me. Now we're going to get on to transformation. First thing we do is we're going to take that off. Now here's a little thing. This is the Infernum blade. In the on the box art, this underside is orange, and I would like it to be an orange. It really would make more sense. It just adds a little more continuity to the aesthetic, but that's the way it goes. The transformation is simple. It's simplistic, but it's not unsatisfying. Some bots have a simple transformation, but that leaves you kind of wanting it, and it leaves the ultimately the bot's really lacking. This guy will take you no time at all to transform. Really, it's so simple. I mean, we're nearly there. Look, just turn the head around, and there he is. But the dragon mode looks amazing, and the bot mode looks absolutely amazing. Let me just fix his wings up a little bit. I think this guy is absolutely superb. I'm going to be a real evangelist for the Beast Hunters line now from now on. I think he looks absolutely super. Let me just see if I can get him into a little bit of a pose. You see how good he looks. If I didn't take paint to this guy, he wouldn't look as good as he does now. Let's just get the little gimmick out of the way. Here, it's that. I like that gimmick. I like gimmicks. I would like it if he roared as well, if he screamed or something. We're getting a repaint of the Voyager. Oh, yeah, I've said that already. Blah, blah, yeah. This is a very handsome bot. Now, you got to get yourself some black enamel. Well, I would recommend enamel for those. Enamel acrylic, it's up to you. You need some black, you need luminous orange, and you're going to need some gold. Otherwise, you're not going to see that or those details. You see, I've picked all those out. You're not going to see any of the shit that goes on this torso. There was two color apps on this guy's torso. We had this in the silver, and we had, you see, where are we? There's a bit of yellow there either side. I've added all the orange and all the gold to his torso, including the little Cybertronian letter here. There was no gold here. You see, I picked all that gold out up the center, and I've given him some big gold, those big gold discs either side. All the black in this part here of the wing, rather in the Cybertronian writing, all the orange here, luminous orange, and on the dragon neck, you see, we've got all the gold Cybertronian writing here. You're not going to see that otherwise. It's not going to stand out. It's not going to pop. You'll see it, but you'll have to go looking for it. And also here, you see in these epaulets or whatever, we've got some Cybertronian and gold. You wouldn't have that otherwise. You really must start getting a bit of paint onto this guy. Now this is his Infernum blade, which he barely holds. He really does. It'll go in his hand, and it's so heavy that his hand starts to fall. I don't really care. It's fine. I would like somewhere to store this. I've been looking for somewhere on the spot to store it. You know, they stick it on the back or something like that, but I just can't find anything. These will go there, above and below, and they'll also go into his arms like that. But I just like to put them onto the back because I don't like to cover up anything about this bot because he, in my opinion, is so attractive that he doesn't need anything added to him at all. Lots of things you can do with the wings. There's lots of things you can do in terms of posability because he is just that. He's extremely posable. I love it. I display him in dragon mode up there, and I display the Voyager in bot mode because I think they look great. Go to Entertaining, you'll get him for 37 quid, which in my opinion is an absolute steal. You've got to get him. I think the UK is one of the first places to get him. So he arrived in Australia first, and then he got to the UK. I think he's going to the States next, in an odd, bizarre twist of some inverted fate. But I love it. I'm so pleased. Now I'm going to switch off this computer, and I'm going to take him back into the sitting room with me, and I'm going to play with him all night. Oh, I'm such a big kid. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ray and the beautiful Predaking. Wishing you a very good night.
Now that's what